Hello. We've just about reached the end of our time together as a class, and so I'm making a little video presentation to talk some about my feelings, sure, why not, and also about what to expect in the future, the immediate future of this class, and perhaps the longer term future of your continued academic career. Let me start by saying, congratulations. You have made it through English 1000. That's not something everyone can say. So, if you like, you can take a moment to feel proud of yourself. I'd also like to thank you. I'd first like to thank you for your effort and your participation. Without those elements, there would be no need for a class at all. The class depends on the effort of its students for its success. So, thank you for your help in creating that success. I'd like to thank you also for your persistence. As I say, you have made it all the way through English 1000 without quitting, and that's something that not everyone can say. So again, if you like, feel a little bit of pride. That is something that you've earned. Now I'd like to talk a little bit about the future. First, I'd like to talk about the immediate future of this class. Now, as you know, I've got a pretty lax deadline policy, but my personal policy doesn't count for everything when you consider that I work for a large bureaucratic institution. And this institution has its own deadlines. One of those is that I must turn in final grades by a particular date. That means that in every class there is a date after which I cannot accept any new work. And that date for this semester is August 3rd. That is this coming Monday, the 3rd of August. I can't take any work after that date. So if you've got anything that you'd like to hand in, please do so. I'd like to give you the grade that you completely deserve. So again, that's August 3rd, and that'll have to be the end. Now I'd like to talk a little bit about what you might do next. As a member of the English department, I've got an interest in keeping you in our department to the best of my ability, so I'd like to suggest some classes that might be useful or interesting to you as you continue academically. I'd first like to talk about English 1001, English 1001, which is critical thinking. That is a class in which you will read arguments and construct arguments and do a lot of the work that you have done in the latter part of this class, thinking about how an argument works, how an argument doesn't work, and how we can construct the best arguments for ourselves. If that's something that interests you, consider English 1001, which also helps for transfer to UC and CSU classes. I'd also like to suggest English 135. English 135 is business English, which is something that you might be interested in considering your professional goals. Business writing is a little bit different from the academic writing that you've studied in this class, and in English 135, you can consider those differences and think about how you can make the style of writing that works best for your particular audience in that world of business. And that's English 135. I'd like to finish by recommending English 140, English 140, which is appreciation of literature. If you like to read poems and stories and plays, I would suggest this class to get an idea of how to read those works with more depth and more interest, and ways to discuss those works with other readers so that you can develop more thoughts about the works of literature that you are reading. Those are the classes that I'd like to recommend. There are, of course, other classes in the department. I want to encourage you to explore our catalog, and I'd like to finally say thank you from the bottom of my heart for your time and attention.